Good morning. It's Mike Lynch with AmeriFirst Financial, and it's time for your Monday morning mortgage update for the week of September the 6th. But it's Tuesday, and it's the 7th because yesterday was Labor Day, and nobody was working yesterday because it was Labor Day. So I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. Thanks all of you that worked so hard. That was the weekend for us to enjoy and just be blessed that we live in this wonderful country and that we have the jobs that we have. So let's talk about last week and let's talk about this week. What happened last week? So not much. I mean, rates really started and ended the same. There was a little volatility in between, but really no change to interest rates. So what's on the agenda for this week? We always have three things that we talk about. The three things we're going to talk about this week are jobs and unemployment, taper, and inflation. And these are probably the three things that are going to have the most impact on mortgage rates and what's going to happen with mortgage rates this week. So let's talk about jobs and unemployment. Today, 7.5 million people stopped getting the unemployment assistance for the pandemic. So 7.5 million people are going to have to figure out what else they're going to do to get a paycheck. Jobs report last week that came out said that they expected 750,000 jobs to be started. We only had 250. It was a big miss on the jobs report last week. And a lot of the headlines said it was due to the Delta variant. People just weren't working. But there's really another way to look at this, is that there's probably just not enough available workers. The most jobs we've ever had available in the last 48 years are present right now. And companies are throwing money at this problem. The compensation that they're offering to get people to work is at a 48-year high as well. So there just haven't been enough people out there looking for work. And this just hasn't started since the Delta variant really has kicked in. This has been something that companies and businesses have been dealing with for months. They can't find quality people that are willing to work. And it's been proven because they've been making the same or more money just by staying home because of all the unemployment benefits they've been receiving, the pandemic and benefits. Well, those are over. They end. So will workers go back to work? There's also another interesting dynamic here. We could see these job numbers go up as people start to enter the workforce, but we also could see unemployment numbers go up. Why? Because a lot of those people that have been on that pandemic have been taken off of all of the reports that measure unemployment, and now they're going to be back into the workforce or into looking for a job. The reason they were taken off is because they weren't looking. So now we could possibly see job numbers increase and unemployment numbers increase. Really interesting dynamic. How does this affect mortgage rates? Well, if people go back to work, if the restaurants can stay open, they don't have to shut down because they can't find workers, then that has a big impact on the economy, grows the economy. We're going to start seeing more stuff available, and not just in this country, but really globally. That's a boost, and that could cause those mortgage rates to go up. Second thing is a taper. We've talked about this for months. Basically, since the pandemic started, the Fed has been buying billions of dollars of mortgage-backed securities in the bond market. Mortgage rates are determined by the purchase of mortgage-backed securities in the bond market. So if more of those securities are being purchased by private investors, your 401ks are invested in the bond market, and the Fed buying these mortgage-backed securities, then we're going to see mortgage rates go down. And the Fed's been doing this to artificially keep mortgage rates down, again, for about a year and a half. They can't keep doing this forever. At some point, they're going to have to stop, and they have been slowly starting to discuss that possibility. We're also going to get a report this week from the ECB, the European Central Bank, and Canada's central bank about what their intention is on tapering, because all global economies around the world have been buying their own version of mortgage-backed securities and artificially keeping rates down. And so as we start to see these reports trickle out this week, is this going to give bond traders some indication on what's happening in the future? Our Fed has really indicated that maybe we should start tapering the end of this year, first part of next year, so that if they start buying less of those mortgage-backed securities, who's going to take over purchasing them? Are private investors, foreign investors, you and I that invest in the bond market, are we going to take that gap that the Fed now is going to vacate? And is it going to be a drastic gap? Is it going to be something that is tapered? And if the bond market or the bond traders think that it's going to be sooner than later, they could react and start purchasing less of those bonds and causing those mortgage rates to go up. So third thing is inflation. Inflation is bad for mortgage rates. Why? Well, let's say that you have $1 million in bonds and it's at a 4% yield or a 4% rate, and inflation is 1%. You're getting a 3% rate of return. Well, now if inflation goes up to 3% and you still have that 4% yield on those bonds, now you're getting a 1% rate of return. So the bond yields will go up, meaning rates, to compensate for the increased inflation. And that has a direct impact on mortgage rates. So the PPI, the Producer Price Index, is coming out Friday. It's the Fed's key measure of inflation. And it's a forward-looking report. Basically, what are producers, what are businesses seeing in the future? Will companies pick up the extra costs that they've been incurring to make stuff? They're having to pay employees more. There's been supply chains interruptions globally. They can't sell stuff. They can't make stuff. Or will they pass this cost on to the consumer? We all know it's costing more to buy gas, to buy milk, to buy bread, and inflation comes in a lot of different forms: wage inflation, supply inflation, the quantity inflation. Your toilet paper rolls are smaller than they used to be, but they still cost the same. And so, again, that PPI report, if we see a high number, that's not good for mortgage rates. So it's a short holiday week this week because obviously we were closed on Monday. It's a light economic report week, really not much happening. So we're going to start the week floating. If you or any of your clients need any advice on mortgage rates, go ahead and give me a call. All my information is in this email. If you know somebody who could benefit from this video, please forward it to them. And if you want to leave any comments, I'd love to hear. Have a wonderful and a productive week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.